Have you ever heard the whispers? Legends of towering men who once walked the earth, men so tall they cast shadows over trees, with footprints bigger than cooking pots and bones thicker than palm trunks. For centuries, Africa has carried stories of giants. They are told around village fires, carved into stone, hidden in the old songs of griots, and even buried beneath the sands. But here's the haunting question. Were they just myths to scare children? Or did such beings really exist? This is Voices of the Forgotten, where Africa's buried truths rise again. Tonight we dive deep into African myths, forgotten archaeology, and chilling reports from early explorers to uncover stunning proof that separates fact from fiction. Africa's oldest civilizations held the memory of giants. Among the Zulu people of South Africa, legends speak of the Isihlangu Esikhulu, the Great Shield. Not a weapon, but a race of enormous men said to wield shields so massive they could cover 10 warriors. Some claim these giants were children of the sky gods, descended during the first age of the world. Further north, in the Dogon traditions of Mali, griots recount how their ancestors battled Nummo-like beings, tall, powerful creatures who descended from the heavens. Though some stories say they were spirits, others describe them as flesh and bone, living alongside humans before disappearing into the earth. And across the continent, in Nigeria's Yoruba land, myths tell of the Oni of Ife, rulers and warriors so tall and broad that the ground trembled beneath their steps. Some oral traditions say they were not fully human, but part divine, part mortal. These stories are not isolated. From the Shilluk people of South Sudan, who describe Nyikang, a founding king tall enough to see over the Nile's reeds, to the Akan of Ghana, who whisper of the Abodwesefoɔ, a vanished race of mighty people who lived before men. The memory is everywhere. But could these be memories of something real? Now let's leave myth and turn to something you can touch. Deep in South Africa, near Mpuluzina in Mpumalanga province, lies one of the strangest finds in the world. A giant human-like footprint pressed into granite rock. Locals call it the footprint of God. It measures nearly 4 feet long, and geologists say the granite itself is more than 3 billion years old. How could such a print exist? Was it erosion? Or was it left by something colossal long ago? In Kenya's Rift Valley, explorers in the 20th century documented enormous fossilized impressions near Lake Turkana. Local Turkana elders swore that the prints belonged to the Alaita, a race of giant hunters who once roamed before the tribes settled there. And in Tanzania, at La Etoli, footprints preserved in volcanic ash date back nearly 3.6 million years. While scientists identify them as belonging to early hominins, local Chaga elders insist that the tracks were left by ancient giants fleeing a fiery sky. Could myth and science be telling two sides of the same story? The strangest tales come not from myths, but from explorers and archaeologists whose findings mysteriously disappeared. In the 19th century, German explorer Kurt Heese claimed to have uncovered giant skeletal remains in German East Africa, modern-day Tanzania. He wrote of bones far longer than any human, with femurs that would have stood a man twice normal height. But his crates, shipped to Berlin, never arrived. Some whisper they were seized. Others say they sank with the ship. In Nigeria, 1936, British colonial workers digging near the Jos Plateau reportedly unearthed enormous bones, too large to belong to cattle. Locals said they were the remains of the Anakim, giants mentioned even in the Bible. But the bones were quietly transported, and nothing more was heard. And perhaps the most haunting case, in 1960s Rwanda, miners allegedly found massive human-like teeth in the volcanic soils near Nyiragongo. Each tooth was larger than a man's thumb. The miners swore they saw more, but authorities removed the remains and silenced the reports. Why do such discoveries vanish? Were they destroyed to protect scientific order, or hidden because they threatened what we know about human history? Hi, thank you for watching up to this point. If you love African mystery history, comment the country you are watching from so we can appreciate you. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you'll be the first to see our next story. Now, let's continue. When European explorers first entered Africa's heartlands, many of their journals recorded bizarre encounters. Scottish missionary David Livingstone, while traveling through southern Africa in the mid-1800s, heard stories from the Kololo tribe of enormous men who once herded cattle so large they could drink rivers dry. He dismissed it as a fable, but noted the sincerity of his informants. British explorer Sir Henry Morton Stanley, in his travels through the Congo, recorded tales from local chiefs of a vanished people who built stone structures too massive for ordinary men. One elder told him, "They were giants. They lifted stones like we lift sticks. But they angered the spirits and were swallowed by the earth." Even Arab traders along the Swahili coast wrote of finding strange, oversized skeletons inland. The 14th century Moroccan traveler Ibn Battuta noted African stories of men of extraordinary size who lived in the far west lands. For outsiders, these were curiosities, but for Africans, they were memory. When we look at Africa's forgotten monuments, the question returns: who built them? The great Zimbabwe ruins, with their massive stone walls stacked without mortar, were once rumored by colonial archaeologists to be the work of a superior race. Local Shona traditions, however, speak of ancient builders of immense strength. Some even claim giants helped lay the first stones. In West Africa, the mysterious stone circles of Senegambia stand in silence. Could ordinary men have raised these massive pillars centuries ago without advanced tools? Or were they the legacy of a people far stronger? Even Egypt's colossal monuments, the pyramids, the temples of Abu Simbel, the statues of Ramses II, spark whispers. The Bible itself records giants in Canaan, enemies of Israel, suggesting that the ancient world was no stranger to them. Could Africa too have seen its share of these beings? The Bible and Qur'an both mention giants, the Nephilim, the Anakim, the Ad. Many African oral traditions echo these same ideas, beings of massive size who lived in the earliest ages, but were destroyed by divine judgment. In Ethiopia, the Kebra Nagast, the ancient book of kings, hints at men of renown who once walked the earth. Some Ethiopian monks even believe the Ark of the Covenant was guarded by beings not fully human. And in Islamic tradition, the people of Ad, described as giants destroyed by God for their arrogance, are remembered across North and East Africa.
Bedouin tribes point to ruins in Yemen and Sudan as their resting places. Could African myths simply be retelling a shared human memory of giants wiped away by catastrophe? Science is cautious. Anthropologists argue that giant skeletons are often misidentified fossils of extinct animals like mammoths or Australopithecines. Others say oral traditions exaggerate human strength into giant myths. Yet the sheer weight of Africa's stories, the strange footprints, the explorers' accounts, and the missing bones suggest that something lies beneath the surface. Perhaps giants were not 20-foot monsters, but unusually tall hominins now extinct. Perhaps they were early humans whose size was exaggerated over centuries. Or perhaps they were something else entirely. So, did giants really exist in Africa? The truth lies somewhere between myth and history. The griots' songs, the explorers' journals, the vanished bones, all weave a mystery too persistent to ignore. Maybe one day, beneath the sands of the Sahara or deep in the Congo's jungles, a complete skeleton will be uncovered, undeniable proof that Africa's giants were more than legend. Until then, their shadow walks with us. Every time we hear the old stories, every time we stand before ruins too massive for ordinary hands, every time we look down at a footprint pressed into stone that no human could have made. The giants may be gone, but Africa has not forgotten. If this story shook you, if it made you wonder what else lies hidden in Africa's forgotten past, don't just leave now. Hit the like button, share this video with someone who loves history, and subscribe for more forbidden stories of Africa's ancient world. Because trust me, this is only the beginning. This is Voices of the Forgotten, and that is the truth history tried to forget.